What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to change it up a little bit. This is going to be another one of those videos that is purely speculative, so I just wanted to be crystal clear about that. We don't have any news on this, I don't have any sort of inside information on this at all. It's just something that I've been thinking about lately, and it's something that I think we might see in Infinite Warfare, and I definitely think it's something we should see in the somewhat near future with Infinite Warfare. This involves bringing some of the Quartermaster Collection guns into the prototype lab. So for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with those names, bringing some of the variants that are in the Quartermaster Collection, which is the supply drop only area, you can't craft those guns, and moving them into the prototype lab so that you'll be able to spend salvage on them to get the variant that you want. Currently, as it is right now, for every variant of the guns that have been added post-launch, so every gun that wasn't here at launch, all the variants for those guns, they're currently locked behind supply drops. They're in the Quartermaster Collection. Yes, you can get the base version of those for free, which I really love, and I definitely give props to Infinity Ward for. But the variants themselves, you can only get them out of supply drops. There's no other way as it is right now. I think this is a totally fair and balanced system where everybody gets that base experience, but if you want that little extra, then yeah, you have to get lucky out of supply drops. I think this finds a great balance between being consumer friendly, but also trying to drive sales with their supply drops. You can't really blame them, they are a business, and that's a big part of the business these days with video games is paid supply drops. For me personally, I still am not spending a penny on COD points, and I wouldn't encourage you guys to do the same, but I think for some of these guns, it's about time they became craftable. We're getting to the point in the game's life cycle right now where there are so many people that have literally nothing to spend their salvage on. I get messages all the time from people saying, are there going to be new variants or something coming soon? Because I have like 20,000+ salvage and nothing to spend it on. And I'm just waiting for something so I can spend some salvage on something. And I think the right way to do this is start bringing in the old post-launch guns. So like the UDM and the RVN, that was the first set of guns that we got with Infinite Warfare. I think it's about time we start bringing those into the prototype lab. It's at the point now where the hype for those has really died off. I don't think anybody's really buying supply drops trying to get an epic RVN or an epic UDM. It's kind of out of their minds at this point. But if you put it into the craftable section, there's lots of people that would be like, sweet, this gives me an opportunity to craft some new guns that I didn't have access to before, aside from in supply drops. And this is a very pro-consumer sort of thing that shouldn't affect their bottom line at all when it comes to selling supply drops. In addition to this, we also have the axe that was launched with the RVN and the UDM, and if you go in the Quartermaster Collection, you can actually see there are 3 variants that are with launch guns. So you can see there's an EBR variant, there's a K-Bar variant, and there's an NV4 variant, and I think the reason they just kept this in the Quartermaster Collection is so that they had a logical place for the axe to go, because they've always got it so there's a common, a rare, a legendary, and an epic, and with the axe, there's just the epic, so they just had to have placeholders before then. So there's still those 3 variants from a launch guns that are in the Quartermaster Collection, and those as well I feel like could transfer over to the prototype lab along with the axe, and that would just make sense at this point. I think it would bring a lot of players back to the game that are starting to lose interest in the game, which it is getting to that point in the game's life cycle where a lot of people have lost interest or are currently losing interest. If they were to bring these variants over to the prototype lab, it would breathe a little bit of life back into this game in my mind. They could even take this one step further and bring in the VPR as well as the Xeon because that was the next set of guns that was launched, but it might be a bit too early for that because I think there's probably still people out there that really want to get that Xeon Warsight, or there's a lot of people out there that also really want the VPR Yokai. This is still pretty highly sought after, and therefore I think maybe they're still selling drops to people that are trying to get those 2 particular guns, and therefore this might affect their bottom line at this point. But perhaps they could start spreading it out so they bring in different groups of guns as the months go on until the launch of COD World War II. There's also still 2 more guns that are going to be added into the Quartermaster Collection in the somewhat near future. I wouldn't expect them for several weeks, but there are 2 new guns that are in the works, and I'm just looking at the Quartermaster Collection and it's already pretty jam-packed full of variants, and I think adding 2 more sets of variants for 2 more guns is just a little bit overkill in that Quartermaster area. So I really hope they start phasing those old Quartermaster Collection guns into the prototype lab so that we can start crafting them. We'll have something to spend our salvage on. It gives us something to be excited about where we don't have to worry about supply drops. We can spend our salvage that we've been saving up for a long time. And I think that's just the right move right now with Infinite Warfare. Do I think they're going to do this? Honestly, I think it could go either way. I feel like it is completely logical. I don't see why they wouldn't do something like this. Like I was saying, I don't think they'll go so far as to put the VPR variants as well as the Xeon variants in the prototype lab yet. But at least for the RVN, the UDM, and the Axe, as well as the launch variants that are with the Axe, I feel like it's about time that those enter the prototype lab for us. And with that, I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this makes sense? Do you think this is a good idea? Do you really see a downside for Infinity Ward or Activision for doing this? Also, I'm interested, since I do get these comments about people that have all this salvage and they don't know what to do with it, how many of you guys are currently sitting on a ton of salvage and are just waiting for something to spend it on? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.